Corona Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
So then the doctor came in and I was like, but what if the rash gets to my taint? And he was,
And then he put on the glove and you're like, Moon River.
Oh boy. Gonna be one of those nights.
How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 189 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and for those of you listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thanks so much for listening to How About That Cigar Live. When you drive down the road, when you work out, whatever it is you do, when you listen to your favorite audio podcast, thanks for making us a part of it. And here in the Corona Cigar Studios, I almost slipped up and said the old thing, but here in the Corona Cigar Studios, it's an exciting time. It's episode 189, and it's winter in Minnesota. It kind of sucks. It's just gross outside. But there was a fun, even though I know we're all sad that our teams are no longer in the playoffs.
Yeah, but we can move on now.
But it was a fun weekend of divisional round football.
It really was.
The exciting, entertaining games. Even honestly, even some of the blowouts, there were still great plays, and I thought it was fun to watch.
I went 3 for 4.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Although it was, I don't want to say it was predictable, but it was kind of predictable. I mean, I don't think anybody.
So I think the 3 that I picked were predictable.
Kansas City, San Francisco, and Philly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing against Cincinnati.
Well, so Cincinnati, I did not expect that to happen.
I didn't either. I
expected it to be a close game, but I expected for Buffalo to win by a touchdown.
Correct. That's exactly what I had.
You had that. Okay. Exactly. I expected Buffalo to win by a touchdown, but
21-14 is
that was yours.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a low score. I had it higher. I had like the over under for total score. I think I had it like 62 or something like that.
Wow.
So, but I mean, not everybody knows this, but I've talked about it a little bit that growing up in sort of southeast Indiana, not growing up, but my first few years of life, we go to Cincinnati Reds games because we were close, and we went to one Bengals game. And so the Bengals were sort of my team as a little kid, back in the Kenny Anderson days and stuff like that. So, now that I'm a Green Bay Packers fan and have been for 30 years, the Cincinnati Bengals are still that team with a soft spot in my heart.
For sure.
I love that team.
For sure.
And I have a feeling Kansas City, what are we? You can just talk. What's up?
Let's go. Okay.
No, you were signaling. Is there something?
Go ahead.
Are we all good?
You're good.
Okay, right on.
All right.
No, I just want to make sure sound and everything's good.
Yep.
But I have a feeling that, so I'm just giving my predictions right now that we are going to see Cincinnati versus the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
Who's going to win?
Agreed.
You think so, Raul? So, and Raul. We'll show him on camera in just a minute here once Toast Cam is over. Then it will know after we're done with Toast Cam, it will be the Raul Cam.
Ooh, I like that.
So, but I think we're going to see Cincinnati and San Francisco in the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yes.
Philly?
I don't think that San Francisco's defense is ridiculous.
It is.
They're ridiculous.
No doubt they're ridiculous.
So I think we're going to see Cincinnati, San Francisco, and I think you are going to see Joe Burrow hoist a Lombardi trophy with a cigar at the same time.
So call it.
I love it.
Who's going to win?
I love it.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Yes.
By how many?
I'll say 4.
4.
Yeah,
Ooh.
4
That's what-
points.
You know what? That
Less than a touchdown.
that
Less
is what my heart wants.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what my heart wants. My head says it's going to be Philly.
You think Philly?
I think Philly.
Kansas City? Philly and Kansas City?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. Neither of our teams lost this week, Matt Ty. Thank you, Tony. That is right. Neither of our teams lost.
True story.
The Vikings didn't lose.
Yep.
The Packers didn't lose.
Yep.
They might be losing.
The Cowboys did lose. Not that I'm celebrating another team's loss, but the Cowboys did lose. Yeah. A huge nerd. Yeah, that's you. I mean, the Cowboys were they were outmatched. San Francisco is too good. Their defense is too strong. Brock Purdy, I mean, give that kid credit.
Yes.
Holy cow. That is such a story.
What a great story.
I mean, it's like quarterback gets hurt. Oh, put in number 2. He gets hurt. Who's the third guy? Brock Purdy? Who is Brock Purdy? And now he's like a household name. He is. He Purdy.
He is Purdy.
But yeah, that's been fun to watch. So we'll look forward to seeing the championship games next weekend and go from there. Minnesota Wild are still really in a holding pattern, which I'm okay with.
Yep.
They're not declining. They're staying relatively steady.
Yep.
They're staying healthy for the most part. I like the moves they're making. They're still in a good place. It's they're hugging that third spot. So the Twins, I know we're far away from baseball, but the Twins, I'm very sad
What are they doing?
that we lost Luis Arias. I'm very sad about that. He's such a dynamic player. He's such a great hitter. He gets the team fired up. He gets the crowd fired up. And he just won the batting championship. And
it's what we do.
it's what we do. We take the Minnesota Twins take great players and we trade them away for, we got Pablo Lopez. He's a good pitcher.
Yep.
He's a good pitcher. Is he in that upper pantheon of great starters? No, he's not. He's a good pitcher.
Mhm.
And a couple prospects that could pan out. One of the prospects, if I remember right, is a top 100 prospect, which that could, I don't know, but I'm going to miss Luis Arias.
Big time.
What's going to happen?
He's going to become a superstar.
Yes.
And we're going to lose him.
He'll become a super. Yeah. Well,
He will
yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Big
That top
Poppy.
100 prospect.
He'll be a big poppy.
And then we'll trade him away.
And then we'll trade him away. That's okay. That's all right.
That's what we do.
Well, I don't want to waste any more time because
I don't either.
Although we have had this guest on the show a number of times, he's one of our favorite guests. We always have a blast talking to him, and it's been a minute since we've had him on the show. So I think without further ado, It is time for us all to put our hands together and welcome to episode 189 of How About That Cigar Live from Espinosa Premium Cigars, Héctor Alfonso Sr. Welcome back to the show, brother. How are you?
Listen, if it's just chlamydia, don't worry about it. We'll just get you some antibiotics. Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait, Hector, you're live. Hector,
I'm
live.
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh.
Hey, hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Everything's good. You good?
Did I miss? No, it's a friend of mine.
Sure.
You don't think I was gonna let you outdo me with that rash joke, do you? Come on, man.
That was good.
I got chunks
I
of
love you.
I got
I
chunks
love
of guys like you in my stool. Come on, listen.
It's gonna be one of those.
But listen,
shows, guys.
I am so happy to be here. I have got so much to say. First of all, I don't know why we're hating on the poor Cowboys. I cannot, because my team took a vacation a week prior to the Cowboys, so I cannot rag on the Cowboys. To lose that player to the Marlins is nothing but the Marlins winning again in the postseason. They are the kings of chess. That kid will not be a Marlin very long. I don't know what his status is, if he's still under contract but the Marlins don't. The Marlins are the worst organization in baseball, so he will end up somewhere else. And listen, Pablo Lopez is going to do well for you guys. Outside of Alcantara, Alcantara went to Cy Young and got racked up because he was on an awful team, because the Marlins are awful. You guys are going to be happy with him. You guys are going to be happy with him, and you won the Correa sweepstakes.
Well,
After
that's
getting
one of the things I wanted to ask you about is the whole Correa debacle, because I really don't have the inside info on all the medical BS that went on behind the scenes when he was supposedly signed with them, and the next thing you know, the doctors are saying no, he's not healthy.
Listen, it seems from what I read today. I mean, it's not like Steve Cohen's calling me, because if he does, I would be George Costanza with the Mets and not working with Eric Espinosa. I'd be the traveling secretary, It'd be Strawberry, Gooden, Alfonso. That's the way you'd hear it on the Seaver. You'd hear it on the mantle like that. It seems that the Mets went. Not only did they go back to the doctor that the Giants had, that did the physical, they also consulted a couple other doctors, and it's not an injury for now, but it looks like it's an injury that will get worse as he ages. And when you're talking about giving a guy an 11-year contract, there's going to be some aging involved in that. You know what I'm talking about? I would have loved to have had him. I think I would have loved to have seen him next to Lindor on the left side of the infield there, and all the other teams in the National League have gotten good. The Padres are good. The Dodgers have gotten good. The Braves did a great job bringing up those rookies last year. So you don't want to, and the Phillies, the greatest softball team ever that went to the World Series. I mean, even they've gotten better. They've gotten better in the offseason. So you've got to keep course. But maybe not. Maybe the Mets will do what the Braves did. They'll bring up Beatty and they'll bring up Alvarez, and maybe Vientos will get into, and they'll bring in some fresh blood. I still think the Mets are. I still think the Mets are a 100-win team. It's just how good will the Braves be, and how much of a pain in the ass will the Phillies be. So we'll see. Well,
and if especially for the Mets, what last year it was, the pitching, and we talked about this on our show. We looked at salaries for all the Major League Baseball teams, and not just salaries for players, but specifically salaries for pitchers. Mets were number one in paying out money to pitchers last year, and
until the last 2 weeks of the season.
Until the last 2 weeks. Then
we couldn't, if we had taken 2 out of those 5 games in Atlanta instead of 1, I mean, who knows, Listen, I'm not crazy about the song. I mean, listen, I think he's 40 years old. He just won the Cy Young, but I remember when I was 40 years old, and I wasn't in the, I felt better than I do now at 56, but not as good as I felt at 30, But Verlander's a beast, and obviously married to the most beautiful baseball wife right now in the world, and
yes,
the fans are going to love him. I think losing. Oh my God, I can't think of his name. The guy who was with the A's, we lost him in free agency, but I think we'll be fine. We just need to hit, and we didn't hit at the end of the season. I mean, so that's all there is to it.
The thing that blew me away more than anything is that the Mets salary total for pitchers was almost as much as the entire salary total for all of the Minnesota Twins roster.
It's yes, but listen, there's an unfair. We have to put an asterisk on that.
Yeah.
All right, we lost DeGrom to the Rangers. DeGrom went to the Rangers. DeGrom didn't want to be a Met anymore. Let's be factual. DeGrom didn't want to be a Met anymore. He wanted a fresh start. He wanted to go to the American League. DeGrom's contract is about $24 million less than the contract we gave the guy coming from the Astros. Okay, but at the end of the day, after taxes, they're the same identical contract. It costs more to pay a player to play in New York. It costs more to pay a player to play in Los Angeles and California.
That's right.
That's why the contracts are so astronomical. And listen, if you win the Minnesota State Lotto, you could buy the Marlins. I mean, the Marlins, the Marlins. It's like, I think for $10 million, you get the stadium, you get the team, you get everything that's left in Jeter's office. I mean, that's I've always the problem with baseball is that baseball has let these guys into the ownership who don't want to spend money. Yeah. They gave the guys from the Expos, Jeffrey Loria, they gave him another franchise. John Henry is part of a ownership group in Miami. They can't afford it. Then he turns on and buys the most expensive team in baseball at the time, the Red Sox. The guy in Oakland, they're in a 70-year-old stadium or 60-year-old stadium. That when you flush the toilet, shit comes into the stands. I get it, but You have a baseball team.
Right.
You know, I just don't see an owner. You know, why can't these owners be a little more, you know, you're going to make money. You're going to make money. If you put a good product on the field and you get your profit sharing and all, you're going to make money.
Yeah.
But, you know, you saw Moneyball. That's ridiculous to beg your owner for an extra $250,000 so they can bring in Mike Gallego or something like that. That's ridiculous, you know?
Yeah.
See, now you just got me angry. All right, go ahead.
How about that cigar where we welcome you into the room with medical yumminess and baseball in January?
Baseball in January. Hey, this is the time to talk about baseball.
Baseball, there is never a bad time for baseball.
That is true.
Yeah.
Raul, what did you want to ask?
Max, tell him I'll bet him a box of cigars that the Yankees have a better record than the Mets.
All right, Raul bets you a box of cigars that the Yankees finish the season with a better record than the Mets.
Okay, I'll take that bet. What am I going to say?
Right.
No?
Yeah.
just tell Raul that not to show up with tell him I'll text him what box of cigars I want. And Raul looks to me like a box of wasabi kind of guy. So no problem. I got you, bro.
Oh, I love it.
I'll send you a picture of my collection.
Yeah. Nice.
I don't know if he wants to play that game with me. I'll send you a picture of it.
No, probably not, but
All right, we're on a box of cigars.
There you go. Done. All right. So I am going to fire up the La Zona 10th anniversary right now.
There's a
And
good
I'm
story
gonna
behind that.
I'm gonna do that on the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust.
Never heard of it.
Toast cam.
Ooh, there's a toast cam?
Yeah, when lighting your cigar, it is important to be patient, pay close attention to detail, and focus on the tobacco in the same way. Steve Saka brings those same qualities to the ultra premium cigars of Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust. Patience, close attention, and focus on the tobacco are the qualities that Saka and Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust have become known for. From Sober Mesa to Umbagog, Dunbarton has a blend that will fit your palate, your mood, and any occasion. Visit DunbartonCigars.com.
don't look, Matt. Oh boy, did that just happen? Cut.
As long as it's not on camera.
Oh,
as long as it's
my.
not on camera, we're not liable to
Oh,
YouTube
boy.
algorithms.
You don't want to know, Hector.
You guys have really made this show. You've gotten really so much better at this.
Oh boy.
All right, I'm gonna give Steve Saka his money back for this episode.
Yeah. Is it a full moon tonight? I think we have a full moon out tonight.
All right. Did something happen? Something must have happened. right?
Something with the full moon.
I was
outside, that's all
focusing like the ad read says. I was focusing on the tobacco. I was
So
focusing.
was I. I was enamored.
Hear it, on the other hand.
Speaking of rashes on the taint, you might want to get that checked out.
Oh, did Raul
Full on.
let the weasel
Full
out of the
on.
cage?
No, the back.
Back end.
Oh, well, thank you for that, Raul. The moon
Oh, did
cam.
he step on a duck? What happened?
I think he exposed his hindquarters.
Allegedly.
Let me ask you: is Raul the only Cuban in Minnesota? You guys just happen to have him there? Is like
He's Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican.
we're almost the same thing. Almost the same thing.
As long as they don't call us Mexican.
That's what we all say.
Oh man. So Hector, what are you smoking?
I am smoking the recently released and already out of stock Knuckle Sandwich Connecticut in the beautiful 6.5 by 48, which is my. But I like to call this size the Hector, the 6 by 48. It's like my privates. I love this size. If you look through our portfolio, you will see this size a lot in our portfolio. I really dig this size. And this cigar is great. I mean, and I'm not a Connecticut smoker, but Eric has kind of coined a phrase for the cigar that I really don't want it to stick, but it's very accurate. He goes, "It's the Connecticut that smokes like a Habano, bro." So, and if it smokes like a Habano, it's a winner for him. So
Absolutely. And I am smoking the Warzone.
Justin Andrews will be very proud. Very nice. That's a good. I'm glad you're smoking that 10-year Lazona, because a lot of people would ask me. I'm sorry, I don't want to take over the show. I'm sure you guys have like an agenda.
No, go,
list.
man.
Bring it
The
on.
show is yours.
Bring it on.
All right, good. Where's the guy with chlamydia? All right, so anyway, we released two 10th anniversaries of the show, and I know I said it when you guys came by the booth, and I talked to the media guys who came by the booth. They're completely different cigars. One is made at Lazona, obviously. One is made at AJ's, but that cigar that you're smoking there is kind of not only is it an homage to where we started with Lazona. If you guys remember Lazona when it started 10 years ago, 11 in a couple of weeks, we had those big crates of cigars with the packaging, and it was very rustic. We were just starting out, and I wanted to make a cigar that kind of took me back to that time when we really suffered to get material, to get tobacco. We were new kids on the block. We didn't have a lot of guys to help us. So where the one from the Espinosa 10 is something completely new. It's made at AJ's. I blended it using tobacco I've never used before. I used Pelo de Oro in the cigar. It shows where we've gotten in 10 years. That cigar kind of takes you to where we started. And there are still guys who like that old rustic stuff, and it's not super fancy, but it's a prototypical Espinosa Lazona from early 2010s when we first started the business. So I was really happy that those two cigars came out the way they did, and I mean they're gone. I have a box squirreled away somewhere, and I'm in no hurry to smoke it because I know that these anniversaries come and go. But how many times you sat there and go, man, I wish I had this. Or,
Yeah,
I still had one of these left over. So I'm
really
glad you're smoking that cigar.
We're lucky because we've got Burn here that was the first, if I'm not mistaken, was the first ever Espinosa Lounge. So they've got a huge selection of Espinosa cigars there.
Yeah, Coop told me that you guys were there with Dave Burke, I guess, a couple of weeks ago when he was up there.
When they were up here, we went to a few shops. Sadly, we didn't make it to that particular shop, but you guys did hang out, which was cool. Yeah. He told me he raved about the shop. I have yet to go up there, but and I've been released I've been let out of the cage a little bit in the last couple of years. No, I've gotten to travel a little bit and go to shops, but the guys come. He's been to Lazona Palooza a couple times, James, and I'm looking forward to getting up there. It's just it's kind of a way. And Richie's right. I am a sexy specimen.
You are.
Yes. Richie knows.
So every time we have you on the show, I don't know if you know. Do you remember what my favorite Espinosa cigar is?
Oh my!
It's been a couple of years since I reached out to you and asked if you knew.
And dry begged him for some free cigars.
No, not free. Where I can find this particular cigar.
What cigar is it? I don't remember, brother. I'm sorry.
The original Bunker Buster.
Oh.
Yeah, those are bye-bye.
Yeah, listen, I'll tell you where you could probably find some of those Bunker Busters.
Yeah.
If you're a member of the Lazona page,
I am.
If you're a member of the Lazona page, and you put out an ISO, one of your brothers in arms will come to the rescue to swap out one or two. They'll swap out with you. Those guys on the Lazona page are absolutely the best when it comes.
You know what?
To
You're right.
There's no bullshit on that page. Nobody's there's no politics or no turmoil. It's not like the housewives. Those guys are all about the cigars and they're constantly sharing with each other. I think you should, if you do an ISO on there, I'm sure that you will come across. And if you
see anybody do an ISO for the Bunker Buster before me,
people are doing
you should probably take 5 minutes to step off down. Listen, bro, this is only a show. You got to handle your business. First things first.
That is true.
I'll be here when you get back.
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about, Hector, is that you guys, as a company, as a brand, had a incredible year in 2022. I mean, with all the releases, talking about like all the Knuckle Sandwich family of cigars, the Espinosa 10th, the Lazona 10th, Las Seis Provincias, what was the one from this year? But you had a big year.
The new
Large. Don't forget Warhead.
Warhead.
Oh,
yeah.
The Warhead.
Yes.
The 8. Oh my gosh.
It was a big year, man.
It was a great year for us. I've been there since day one as a junior and Eric himself. And to see where we've come in 10 years is really, it's incredible, and it's such a good feeling. But who we never thought we never thought that it would get like this. I mean, it's just this year flew by because of when's this coming out? When's this arriving? We got to do this. We have this event. The introduction of Guy Fieri into our daily our routine in our portfolio, and events with him, and the show, and he's coming to the show, and then he's going to the Big Smoke, and then he's going to the Great Smoke, and he's coming to the Lozona Palooza. I mean, the year just goes by, because where you'd sit there and go, spring, we still got all the spring. It just flew by. It just absolutely flew by. Yeah. And we had a good problem to have as the guy on the cigar side and not really on the sales side. I look back and we had a lot of great releases, but I think I've got to do a better job to start spacing these releases out a little bit more, so they don't kind of get caught up. They don't kind of get caught up with the whatever flagship release becomes the flagship at the show, because you don't have a saying on what cigar is the one that's going to be the belle of the ball at the show, or whichever one becomes the belle of the ball of the year. I mean, listen, I am not a 6x60 smoker, yet we made a certain amount of warheads, and while there was some internal concern that that's the size, it's kind of big, they're gone. The knuckle sandwich Connecticut, we're going to introduce another Connecticut. Does the market really can it take another Connecticut? Boom, they're gone as well. The Espinosa 10, well, not the Espinosa, the Lozona 10 was gone at the show. So if you've got it, if a retailer has it now, there's no way a retailer can get it anymore. We've got to do a better job to start spacing these things so they don't get lost, because guys, it kind of reminds me of the year Laranja came out. Laranja was such a great, our biggest hit, our first big hit, and it that year it outshined everything. I mean, it was so massive that we didn't do a warhead the next year, because we thought that the steam on warhead had died, and you just get caught up. Sometimes there are cigars that are just almost too big. That are almost too big. You're not ready to handle them. It's a great problem to have. I am not complaining in the least, but we did really have some good releases. Absolutely. And the 6 provinces again was a great release. We sadly, unfortunately, we just couldn't deliver it until later in the year, because as well as things have been on the sales side, there's still some delays on the manufacturing side. The band guy doesn't get them on time, or where we get our ribbon is out of stock. The box guy is backed up. Plus there's been some problems in Nicaragua with work, people leaving, looking for a better life in the United States, and there's been those issues. So listen, we've been very lucky. It's been a great year, and we've been very lucky, and we've been very blessed.
Well, I can tell you this. I was blessed to be a part of some Espinosa stuff, and was in a text group, and Jack would put out a text saying, X cigar, we have X cigar available in this quantity, and I would make my phone calls, and like 8 minutes later he would text back, sold out. And so you got people are after this cigar, they're your cigars, and they're loving them. And my question to you is, when you approach a project, and you already kind of said that spacing this out, you want to do a better job at that, but when you approach a project, what are you looking at for numbers and things like that to bring to market, and to keep something either limited or core line? What does a project look like for you?
Whenever we come up with an idea, and whenever we come up with a concept, and unlike there are some manufacturers who come up with a name and a box design and then say, let's put a cigar in that. That's not the way we roll. There's something I want to do, or there's something Eric wants to do, or there's something Junior wants to do, or something that Jack and wants to do that he thinks he can sell with the team, or Richie brings up for one of the one of our big clients. We look at it as, is this going to be sustainable? Is this something that fits in our portfolio? Look, core, and I've had this conversation so many times. Yes, I believe core is important, but I sit in a cigar store 4 days a week, and I sit in a very boutique-y cigar store. And I think we are a boutique cigar company, and we do very well in those shops. And I hear the number one question. Guys walk in, and they look at Al and they go, what's new? You got to have new stuff. I mean, I don't think you can inundate the market with something new every month, but every quarter or so, every couple of months, you got to have something new that's sexy, that's fancy, that's it's an offshoot of this, it's a variation on that, because guys love that and they eat it up. And there are some things that are only good. There are some things that I think work better as limited, certain sizes, certain wrappers, compared to your core line. We when we sit down to come up with a concept, the first thing is, how long are we going to do this? Is this going to be a year-long thing? If it's a blend we really, really like, okay, well, we're going to do that now, and then next year we'll approach it in another size, or next year we'll approach it with we'll do the same size, but we'll tweak the blend and we'll use a new wrapper, because I think guys really get into that. Warhead is the perfect example of that for us.
Yeah.
Warhead was, one blend, it's like, what is it? One ring for them all, or it's one blend and two Toros and a Lancero and a short Churchill, and then a traditional Toro, and then a Figurado, and now a 6x60. Now next year we're doing we're doing a funky size. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag.
But you can.
Oh, you were so close.
I was. But we're doing a funky size for that.
Okay.
And then the year after that we have Warhead 10. What are we going to do for Warhead 10? I mean, that's the 10th anniversary of Warhead.
Yeah.
Culebra. They're going to do a Culebra. You heard
right,
it here first.
Right. So listen, we go on it. Is this going to be something that we're gonna do all the time, or is it something that's going to be part of our core line? We don't know. And right now, it's just we're just shooting. We're just throwing sevens right now. We really are. I mean, I'm not a crafts guy, but that's the right dice. That's the right dice throw, right? A seven is when you hit. Yeah. All right. So we're just right now we're hitting sevens, man. We're throwing sevens. We're doing very well. The cigars are doing very well. We're in a good place, man. We really are in a good place, and that just shows you what we've developed there. Not just the team, but just the interaction that we have with our clientele, the customers, and the retailers. Because as important as the retailers are, their customers are just as important. I mean, we are that company where customers don't even have to go to the retailer. They contact us themselves on social media. I love this. I love that. Where are you going to be? Eric just said he was in California. A guy drove like an hour and a half or 2 hours to get a humidor signed. I mean, this is in the middle of the week. That's a big commitment. So listen, we're just in a very, very good spot. We're very lucky to be here, and don't think that we're forgetting about that. We are very aware and cognizant of what's going on.
Yeah. Well, if you look at, because we're in that, we're coming to the close of that season now at the end of January, where everybody put out their lists for 2022. The Half Wheel Consensus just got announced and released today. And you guys, I mean, across so many different lists, you guys were hitting on just about every list I can think of. Most importantly, you hit the How About That Cigar list.
We did hit your list, yes.
That's huge.
I think there's still one big list that hasn't been released yet.
Okay.
And I'm sure that'll come out next week sometime. And we did very well on that list last year. But listen, and this is something and you'll hear very few other people in the industry say that. I know there are a lot of great cigars out there. I know it because I smoke them. So listen, it's an honor to make anybody's list, but there's a lot of competition out there. Right. So it's great to get these accolades. But again, you're talking about the cigar that made the consensus. The Maduro didn't make the consensus according to the Half Wheel. The Maduro missed it by a point. But you
Yeah.
know what else missed the consensus by a point? The Tatuaje Veracruz.
Yeah.
That's a good cigar. I mean, it missed it by a point. So actually, if you think about it, we're in pretty good company. I mean, you know, we made honorable mention, but you know, we're in pretty good company. The four and I know you guys know my feelings on this. I am a Maduro guy. The Habano has been my worst nightmare because I have to hear it in the office. I told you the Habano was better. It's not better. It's just more. It's just been more readily accepted, or just made some more lists, or was reviewed first. And I'll go to my grave with that. It might be on my marker. The Maduro is better. That's going to be on my headstone. But it is, you know, it's just, we're very lucky. You know, we're just very lucky. We're very, very blessed, man.
Well, I'd say that the Habano, and I think you would agree, and I think a lot of people in the cigar sort of agree that, you know, if you're looking at a Habano wrapper, that's going to please a wider swath of the cigar community than maybe a richer, fuller Maduro is going to. And
you know that we're known for the Habano. I mean, Habano is synonymous with Espinosa Cigars.
Oh, absolutely.
Even though I've tried my hardest to make that not true, it is absolutely the truth. Every blend that we make, there's a kosher alternative, which is a Habano wrap.
Kosher alternative, I love it.
Just so he can try it. You know?
There's an unleaded version. Well,
unleaded, right? Ethel.
I'm with Corona, or I'm with Richie. The Corona Gorda Maduro is my favorite. So good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ronnie Habibi, we have Detroit royalty.
Ronnie
in the house.
Jay Davis, welcome.
And you know, the cool thing is that fatherhood has really calmed him down.
Yeah.
It's so good to see how fatherhood has chilled him out. So good.
Yeah,
what a pretty baby too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What a pretty baby.
Beautiful family.
Shit.
Yeah.
God's mean sometimes.
Well, you touched on a little bit already about how there was a time when Laranja was hit so heavy that you guys decided to call an audible and not do a warhead that year. What goes into those conversations when you see a cigar explode in popularity? It could be the Laranja, it could be the Knuckle Sandwich series, and you see it explode in popularity, and you're looking at the other projects that you maybe had on your whiteboard as possibilities for releasing in the next 9 to 12 months, and then you say, okay, we got to rethink this because of consumer demand. What goes into those conversations when you guys are deciding that?
Well, it was a different time in our company. I mean, when the Laranja came out, we were a 3-year-old company. You know, we were concentrated on sales, and not just sales, but putting the cigar out there that best represented our company, and they gave our company the most notoriety and popularity, which was the Laranja. But at the back of our minds, we were always aware that Brazilian wrapper that we use, you know, that could dry up that could dry up for a while at any time. And it did, as you saw about a year ago, a little bit more, almost 2 years ago, we didn't make that cigar for like 10 months because we couldn't find the wrapper. So, you know, luckily, you know, we've come a long way since those. You know, we know. Listen, I think it starts with the fact that we have a larger sales team in force now. We have 3 in-house guys. Jack runs the in-house guys. They do a fantastic job. They sell. They cover the country and these locations where they're situated. 2 of the guys are very young, and you know they were kind of like out of our AAA farm system. They were out of AAA Richmond. We brought these kids, you know, and our guy in Texas is just a big bear and lovable. So that's our cornerstone of our sales team. And then we have brokers, good brokers throughout the country that help us, you know, promote these things. And it makes their job easier if the brand is hot, or if the brand and if you get hot by sadly getting lucky. I mean, it's that whole tipping theory, that tipping point theory all over again. How many great cigars that we've smoked from brands you've never heard of because that cigar didn't get into the right hands. It didn't get to the right blogger or the right blog website or the right magazine or media, and didn't develop the way a Laranja did, or the year after COVID, the way that Oscuro did. Oscuro blew up the COVID year when it won Cigar of the Year for Cigar Snob. That cigar just it blew up. We couldn't keep it in stock.
Yeah.
So we're constantly, we keep an eye on what's good and what's mainstream, what's our most popular stuff, and make sure that to keep all the ancillaries and incidentals, because there's nothing worse than, all right, listen, we're doing great with this. Let's call it that. We're doing really good with this Habano knuckle sandwich, and we're going to make a bunch of it, and we're going to make a ton of it, and we're selling it, and all of a sudden we're out of bands. What do you mean we're out of bands? Oh, the factory didn't tell us we're out of bands. Oh shit, we got to go. Now, we got to get the band guy, and the band guy might be on a 3-week delay or a 2-week delay. So we're constantly checking the heartbeat of every one of these brands, every one of these lines that we have, to make sure that they're moving along. And I think we interject some of these limiteds and some of these one-offs because it kind of fits. It's like I said, we're a different company now than we were then. We can play around with those things. We know that our knuckle sandwich sales are going to be solid. We know Laranja is going to be solid. We know that all of the Laranjas are going to be solid. The Habana, the Crema is always going to do well. So we have chance to plug these other ones in as the year goes on. And a lot of them are just pet projects, I've got some pet projects that up our sleeves, because we can't forget where we came from. We came from Nerdvana. The guys who like our cigars at the end of the day are nerds, and they want nerdy shit, and we got to do it for them. We got to make it for them.
Yeah.
So when you put on your thong, do you put your right leg in first or your left leg in?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't wear a thong, but when I do wear my banana hammock,
okay,
I have an apparatus where I just jump into it.
That's the
really
way to
smart.
do it.
That's
the
really
way
smart.
to do it.
It's all about efficiency.
It is.
Absolutely. You got to maximize your time.
It's really good. I like it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That gives me some ideas.
Try to sleep with that on your mind.
Oh.
So
long night.
I just recently bought some of the knuckle sandwich Connecticut, and I know you said
you're a lucky man.
Yeah, and I know you said they sold out, so the retailers that have them, get them while you can. And I know in some of the talks that Guy Fieri gave, at the Great Smoke last year when the cigar launched, and then also he talked about it again at the PCA trade show and at the Big Smoke, that he's really a full-bodied cigar guy. He's a Maduro guy. He's a full-bodied cigar guy. So the concept of putting a Connecticut shade twist on the knuckle sandwich line, did he have to be sort of convinced of that, or was that sort of something he was on board with from the beginning, saying, yeah, I do enjoy a milder cigar from time to time?
I know that he's had the Connecticut. I know that he likes the Connecticut. But I think you have to look at the fact that all successful brands have a gateway cigar.
Yeah.
Everybody has a gateway cigar.
Yep.
Think about our company. Our company didn't make a Connecticut until 2015 or 2016. We launched the Connecticut 4 years after we had been around. And when most companies launch, most new companies launch, what do they launch with? A Habano, a Connecticut, and then whatever dark wrapper they can find and want to call it Maduro. That's how most companies launch. We didn't have a gateway cigar. One of the things that led to Crema was Eric saying, guys come to our event and they say our cigar's too spicy or our cigar's too strong. We need something. We need to get that market, and it makes good business sense. When we first started, we made cigars that we liked. We made cigars that we liked, and then we made cigars that we had that we owned at the time, which is 601 and the eponymous stuff. Then our next set were cigars that Eric liked, but then we made cigars for Cornelius and Anthony, and we made cigars for Protocol. We started making other cigars, and you could see that there were markets for those. You have to make a cigar for the spectrum. And as much as we all say, oh, we're full body and we like all this spice and this heaviness. There's a whole faction of cigar smokers who do not like that. And I would say it's a huge faction.
Yeah.
So why would you not dip your toe into that? Try to make a product that is enticing to those smokers. You know, I think the one thing we're missing from our portfolio is that really heavy cigar, really heavy. You know, and when I mean heavy, you know, I not to call any brands out, but you know, just that really heavy cigar. We don't really have a really heavy cigar, and that's something I'm working on for this year. I want to have that really heavy cigar, that real full-bodied cigar, not necessarily a powder keg of spice, but just one that you had and you went, man, I just had like a 28-ounce porterhouse kind of cigar. One of those,
Nice.
and because that's a complete faction that we're missing of cigar smokers there as well. And of course, and as I look at the consensus this year, and I look at a lot of these lists, a lot of those cigars do very well on these lists, you know. So I want to be able to run the you know, at the end of the day, if you know, when this is all over and you know I retired for good and the company continues to move on and I'm just some old guy sitting in a front yard in South Carolina yelling at the neighbors, I want to be able to say, well, you know, when I worked in the cigar industry, I tried to make cigars that went from A to Z. I didn't want to leave anybody out. I wanted I think one of the most embarrassing things that could happen to you as a company is if a guy walks up to you and says, I want to try your cigar, but I smoke this. Oh, we don't have yours. You want to be able to say, yeah, man, look, try this.
Right.
Look, we make Candela. We make a Candela. We make a Connecticut. We make Habano. Bro, we make Habanos. We have a Mexican. We have a couple of Mexicans. We made a Cameroon. We've made Sumatra. We've made Mafina. We've made, you know, we've made a lot of different cigars, a lot of different wrappers, and a lot of different taste points and strength points and spice points, and we're going to continue because there's a whole world out there, you know, and I don't want to be left out, and I don't want our company to be left out.
Absolutely. So when you, as we've seen over the last, well, really forever, but I think there's been a little more of it in the past couple of years. At least we've paid more attention to it. At trade shows and things like that, we're seeing new companies come into the mix. Hey, this is a new cigar brand. We're just starting up. Try our stuff. Let us know what you think of it. They try to get into as many shops as they can in that first year and things like that. And they work with a factory partner to get those things off the ground. You know, because you've got a fair amount of experience now, you know, doing this for what, 13?
No, it's going to be 11 years, February 7th.
Years.
February
so
7th.
As you see some of these newer brands start to launch, whether it's at a trade show, whether it's, you know, whatever it is, and their social media presence and, you know, and then you actually, because I know you smoke a lot of cigars outside of Espinosa, and you'll go and, you know, go to the shop and you'll pick up one or two of this new brand that you heard about on Instagram or something, and you try it. But when you see them out there making their original moves and they're getting started, are you seeing any trends that are maybe where you see them making mistakes that you've learned from in the past, and you say, oh man, this maybe you should, you know, and you don't necessarily, you know, call them out on it, but you think to yourself, man, if I just had 5 minutes, just a conversation, I could save you a lot of trouble from stuff that I've suffered from in the past.
Yes and no. I'll tell you why. When we came into the market, the situation, obviously the atmosphere was different. When, you know, if you look, there are 7 or 8, maybe 10 companies who are all about the same age. We've all been around 10 to 12 years. We all came on at the same time. We all used, you know, we're a company that probably will tell you that we started and we made a name for ourselves and grew our company on social media. It's a big component in the success of Espinosa. But I am so glad that we are not starting a company from scratch today in this era, because you have so many of those companies that started 10 or 12 years ago have not disappeared. They are bigger and better than ever. And really have a throttle hold on what that boutique market is. And I think we're part of those 10 companies. I think that when you think boutiques, you think of us, and I think it's a hard market to crack right now. Guys wanted to get into this industry. Look, you never want to tell somebody not to get into this industry. This is their dream, or but it's harder. I think it's much harder now than it was 10 or 12 years ago. Plus, I think while the FDA, in my opinion, is a sleeping giant, you just never know when that's gonna rear its ugly head again. I would have told you 2 years ago. I thought everybody was going to be dead in the water. But as government agencies do tend to do, they're their own worst enemy, and they had a judge that slapped them down, and that was that was good. So while they're regrouping, it's time for us to thrive. And in the meanwhile, a lot of companies have come around, and a lot of little factories have opened up, and they're producing cigars and making cigars. But I think they're the tip of the spear. The day, when that day comes that that there may be a slowdown, an industry slowdown or whatever. I'm not being all doom and gloom with you, but I just I think if and I've met a couple guys who just started out, and this is an industry full of guys who are very confident. A lot of confident guys in this industry, a lot of guys who talk shit in this industry, a lot of guys who we're noologists, but there are a lot of genuinely intelligent guys in this industry. Yeah. That just their personas are just enormous, and those are the ones I really kind of gravitate to. I really dig those guys, but at the end of the day, I can always say, well, he can say that, and because he's been doing this for 10 years or 15 years, or some guys with several companies for 20 years. I get it, but a lot of these new companies seem to be a little too brazen, and no, I know what I'm doing, and somebody's mentoring me, and all right, well, good luck to you. You don't want to be that guy that offers advice that's unwanted, because a lot of people don't want advice. A lot of people tell you how great. Listen, it's one of my favorite pastimes at the shop that I go to. I go to Caribbean. I sit there 4 days a week, at least once or twice a month. A new company will come in with their rep. The brand owner will come in, or their rep will come in, and I'll hear them do the sales pitch with Alan. And trust me, I'll tell you, I'm completely respectful. I don't get involved. I am just a customer or consumer sitting there. And then the guy will want to give me a cigar because I'm sitting in the lounge, and you ask permission to give the guy a smoke, and he gives me a smoke. And then the guy will break down the cigar for me and completely tell me he'll tell me 10 things, and 8 of them are bullshit. This is a very special tobacco. It was hidden in the factory for almost 20 years.
Al Capone.
And this is the pilon that the girls sat on in the glory hole in the back room. I go, what are you talking about? They tell you these things, and this is like this, and this wrapper is like, and you're just kind of nodding. Yeah. And unless the guy's really a prick, then you go, oh well, like the one guy, he goes, listen, you might not know a lot about cigars. I've been in the cigar industry a long time. I said, no, I kind of don't, and I went to the, I kind of don't, so I went to the bathroom, and when I came back, the guy was gone. And I said, well, where's the guy? And he goes, well, when you went to the bathroom, I opened up a snob or a CA, or I showed something I'm online. I go, that guy that's sitting there, you've been giving that guy bullshit for 10 minutes. He's been kind not to screw you. And if I was with the right people, I would have. But I don't want to do that. I'm trying to be kinder and gentler in 2023. I've been trying to, since I've been retired, I've been trying to be a kinder guy. But some of these guys, you can't help them because they don't want to be helped. And why waste your time? Listen, I'd rather waste my time talking to the guys who I like and who ask me, what do I think? But that's my personal opinion.
Yeah. Well, and also and this is sort of an aside. This really isn't related to the cigar industry as we know it, but I'm sure you see a lot more of this, Hector, living in South Florida than we do up here in Minnesota. But
thank you, Ronnie.
All around the country, there are places where you'll see some, maybe it's on Facebook or Instagram or something, some local restaurant that has a big outdoor patio that says, hey, we're gonna have a whiskey and cigars night. Mm-hmm. And some random guy with all these unbanded cigars will show up, and you'll pay a certain amount, for a couple glasses of whiskey and a couple cigars with no bands on them. And the guy spins yarns like Castro's, tears, all over these tobacco leaves and all. And you taste the cigars,
which is exactly what I want to smoke. There's nothing
oh
that I
yeah,
want to
totally
smoke more than Castro's tears.
The few times that I've gone to things like that, just because maybe I get invited or I just, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll go. And you just know, first of all, that it's bullshit, all the stories. And second of all, that these are like segundos thrown away by a factory that didn't even have a good track record to begin with. And they're just not good. And I just wish there was less of that in the marketplace these days.
Listen, I know where you're coming from, where you want less of that, but I don't want less of that.
Okay.
I think, and I'll tell you why I don't want less of that. Any situation that arises where we can promote, the culture of cigars, the cigar culture is a good, weddings, bachelor parties, birthdays, retirement parties, dinners, pairings, anything like that is great. However, you can't blame the guy who's got a roller, who's got the cigar made already, who's just putting the wrapper on. You can't he's just trying to make a buck. I get it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should blame the locale for not reaching out, especially if they're in South Florida, where they could reach out to any of the cigar manufacturers in Miami and say, hey, would you like to sponsor this event with us? But there sometimes, name recognition comes into that. And listen, there are a lot of guys who are bougie. They only want to smoke this cigar or that cigar.
Yeah.
And I've heard guys, I went to this wedding and the cigar roller made me a couple of fresh cigars. They were the best cigars I ever wanted. I usually I unfriend them on Facebook and I put them on a 6-month timeout. I don't talk to them anymore. But you can't blame them. Listen, this is an industry where it's not about the cigar anymore. It's about the story. The story is what people love. The story is what helps sell cigars. The story is what makes the history of some of these brands and factories so mystic and it makes you romanticize them. I get it. It's the story that sells. Look at our story. We have a celebrity chef who wanted to make a cigar. He he got together with Eric and he's made a cigar. And that's a good story. There's no bullshit in that story that, he uses 7 herbs and spices and some secret sauce. But there's none of that. You can't. A lot of companies have learned. They have not learned yet that you can't bullshit consumers. There are still consumers that can be bullshitted. But in my 10 years, going on 11, consumers have gotten smarter. They go on. They read the magazines when they're at the shops. They go to the websites. They have their feeds on their social media. They're learning. They learn. Yep. And if they really are cigar smokers, they've learned to expand their palates. And not only expand their palates, they found their favorite cigars, and then they found their second favorite for the day that cigar might be out of stock. They have a secondary and a third cigar they can go to. Cigar consumers are really smarter than people give them credit for. And now that I've been traveling, it's one of the most amazing things and one of the most humbling things for me. When I travel, whether I'm by myself or I'll travel with one of the reps, when I travel by myself with one of the reps or one of the salesmen, or I travel with Jack, that people know who the hell I am. And I saw you on this show. I saw you on that show. I read this. I saw this on Facebook, and they're really into the brand. How do you not give those guys 20 or 30 minutes of your time to answer whatever question they want and take them through the whole portfolio from A to Z? Those are the guys that keep us going.
And Ronnie made a really good point.
Don't say that too many times.
I know. I try not to, but it is a valid point. It is legitimately the first celebrity cigar to have the amount of success that I can think of.
No, I agree. There have been a lot of, we've all seen over the last 15 years, celebrity cigars, people who put their name on a cigar, and then they literally, that's it. Their name and maybe their picture is on the box. And then you never maybe you see them at the Big Smoke because it's Cigar Aficionado. There's a lot of clout behind that event, things like that, and then it disappears.
Yeah.
And then, but Guy and Eric talked about this, and actually both Eric and Guy talked about this at the PCA trade show this past year, and even at the Great Smoke with Abe, is saying, hey, it was actually a back and forth where the first couple times that Guy came to Eric and said, hey, I want you to make a cigar for me. Eric's like, no, I'm not.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. Look, let me tell you.
Invested. He's boots on the ground. He's the one that's actually at these events, meeting people, getting to know the consumer base, and putting himself out there. Where, for the most part, other so-called celebrities haven't put skin in the game.
Well, that Jay-Z Cohiba, in my opinion,
that fell apart. That went nowhere.
I bought one, and it was like $25, and it sucked.
And
balls.
it was $25 15 years ago.
Right, 15 years ago.
Which was that's the equivalent of like a $40 cigar today.
Right.
All right, let me give you my 2 cents on this. Matt, does your wife smoke?
She has a couple times, but really no.
Okay. Does your wife know? And listen, I'm in a bad spot. I don't want to call any of the other celebrity cigars out. That's not really.
We don't have to name
what I'm here. But all right, do you think your wife knows any of the other cigar celebrities, with the exception maybe of Coach Diskick, since you are a football fan and they play in the NFC Central? Does she know any of the other people?
The only other, Raul just called it, the only other one she knows for a fact is Big Papi, because I'm a baseball fan and she knows that I've smoked the cigars with his name on them before.
Okay, so she wouldn't know who they are. I would bet you Raul's Cigars that she knows who Guy Fieri is.
100%. Yes.
The guy. Look, I'm writing a press release that you guys will probably get tomorrow, and I'm going to say, I'm kind of going to quote what I wrote in this. He transcends the industry. He's bigger. Look, we have royalty in the cigar industry. There are guys who are royalty in the cigar industry. The Fuentes, the Padrones, the Rockies, whether you love them or not. These guys, they're royalty. They made their bones. They've been there since they've been there when the cigar industry went through their first boom and then the lull. And now again, we have royalty. But this is a guy whose popularity far extends to the cigar industry.
Yes,
absolutely.
And he is in the short time that he's been with us, he has taken the brand and tried to take not only his brand but cigars in general mainstream. He did an interview on HBO with Chris Wallace. His social media, the NBA All-Star game with a picture of his cigar, him on the sidelines. If you watch any of his content on the Food Network, he's wearing the shirts. He's wearing the Guy Fieri knuckle sandwich shirt. He can do what a lot of these other guys can't do. He can take it mainstream. And listen, this is a guy who's got, we talk about, oh man, what a busy day. The kids are daycare. I had to go to work. I had to go to the post office. He's traveling all over the place. The filming schedule. Yet we got him to Palooza. We got him to the Great Smoke. We got him to the show. We got him to the Big Smoke. He did an event in Puerto Rico when he was filming 5 times in a year.
Yeah.
And that's a lot for a guy who's probably filming 42 weeks a year. I mean,
oh yeah.
He's done his part. He's
incredible.
done his part, and he's good for the industry. And a lot of guys told us at the Great Smoke, they came over and go, "This is fantastic for our industry."
Yeah.
He's involved.
It is. I agree with that, because he's mainstream. He's outside of the world of premium cigars that we all nerd out about. And just like you said, Hector, my wife, who's doesn't know the difference between Carlito Fuente and George Padron, who doesn't know the difference between Habano and Brazilian Arapiraca. She knows who Guy Fieri is, and and even friends of mine and family members of mine who don't smoke cigars and don't care the first thing about premium tobacco have seen things that I've posted about knuckle sandwich cigars and said, "Oh my God, I had no idea he was a cigar guy like you are." And I said, "No, he is a cigar guy way above what I am. He's actually in the culture and in the hobby."
and he smokes cigars.
And he actually smokes cigars.
A shitload of cigars. He
Yeah.
smokes a ton of cigars.
Yeah.
He smokes a ton of cigars, lights one up after the other. He smokes cigars.
And it makes a big difference. He's actually got he's got legit cred that he's actually living the lifestyle. He's put in more time, like you said, Hector. All the things he's been to in the last 18 months, he's put in more time. And I'm not going to name any names, and I'm not going to call people out, but he's put in more time and effort than a lot of cigar brand owners out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just calling a spade a spade. It is what it is.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to see him on a podcast one of these days.
Well, you're absolutely right. But if you can imagine how hard it is to get him to an event, imagine
it's
trying to wrangle him in for a podcast. Listen,
we'd have an easier time getting.
Garrett has Garrett problems, and Matt has Matt problems, and Hector has Hector problems. Guy Fieri has Guy Fieri problems. He has Guy Fieri issues, not problems, but he has. I've been around him 7 or 8 times in the year, and I could not do that. I could not do that. It's just I can't.
It's gotta be exhausting.
And to be on and to be engaging, and it goes completely against my whole warmth etiquette. I just can't. I can't deal with that. Listen, my son's a police officer here, and I flew him to Vegas. He came to Vegas with us for the show. I think you guys met him at the show.
Did. Totally,
and he was his body man while he was eating lunch. And when he came back, he goes, "Pop, this guy can't take 10 steps. He can't take 10 steps without somebody putting a box in his face, wanting to shake his hand, wanting to take his picture." I mean, the man was trying to eat a hamburger, and we had to surround him. It looks bad. I mean, it doesn't look great. It looks like, he's being very elusive. It's not. He's just trying to have a hamburger. He's just trying to eat a hamburger in peace.
Yeah.
So he can get back on and go sign some more cards and some more magazines and some more hats and engage. Because let me tell you something, retailers like cigar manufacturers. We can be a weird bunch, but you should see how engaged they were to meet this guy.
Yeah.
It's great for the brand. It's great for Espinosa. It's great for the cigar industry.
I agree. It is next level for the cigar industry.
I do want to pitch him on a Cigar Industry Guys Grocery Games edition. I think that would be freaking great.
Well, I've never seen. I don't see any manufacturers.
I haven't seen that.
There's
I've seen most of his shows, like the Diners, Drive-ins. I love that show, but the grocery games I've never seen.
Oh, dude, it's fantastic.
It's not in my wheelhouse.
Oh, it's great. Top chefs that are in a grocery store, and he has all these crazy games. You can only get these ingredients to make a meal, type of thing, and it's pretty cool.
I like the Triple D because I know it gives me ideas when I travel where to go.
Yeah,
and I've gone to it. My wife and I have gone to a number of places. On
I love Triple D. Triple D was is always been one of my favorite shows.
Oh yeah,
I used to love the Rachel Ray $40 a day. She had a $40.
Oh yeah.
Of course, you can't do shit for $4 a day anymore. But she was
you
like,
even get a dozen eggs for $40.
Well, unless you're big pimping. So yeah.
So as we look ahead, because we're barely at the beginning of 2023, and we've got the TPE trade show coming up, we got the PCA trade show coming up. Great Smoke for Smoke In. We've got Big Smokes for Cigar Aficionado and all the big events, Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival and Brew City Cigar Fest, and name all these different festivals all over the country during the course of this calendar year. As we look ahead to what you guys have coming up after a huge year like you just had, are you guys able to keep everything, lined up and ready to go for the projects that you're going to be putting in front of consumers this year?
All right. Well, we have everything lined up that we plan on doing this year.
Okay.
However, when you steer a small ship, because at the end of the day, we're still a small ship. We're a boutique brand. We're still small enough that we can pivot on a dime. If we have to adjust, we can. But we have a couple of things lined up that are going to be surprises, that which kind of show the growth of the company and where we've matured in the last few years and where we're headed. Plus, we've got our regular releases. We've got the new 6 provinces for the show. We have let's see, the new 6 provinces for the show. We have the new warhead for the show. We have a new core line that we'll be showing at the show.
Nice.
Then in between that, we will be doing. There's the new chef special for the show as well, which is the PCA exclusive that we do for Knuckle Sandwich, which is the Figurado. Last year was Habano. This year is a different blend in Sumatra. But we've got a couple of limited things that we're going to do. We have a lot of cool things in our go-go gadget bag for this year. Plus, we've got a couple of little funky things. There'll be a line extension on wasabi. You guys will see later down the road. We'll do we're gonna do we're doing a 601 orange in a limited run. We're trying to do some fun things to get to keep the nerdvana, get that nerd juice flowing. Because guys, listen, we're like I said, we're gonna do the core stuff. We're gonna do the stuff that we do every year that's limited, but we're also gonna do some some one and dones or some stuff that you might see again. But we're gonna have enough stuff this year to keep us busy. And I think we're gonna the way our whiteboard is looking now, we're busy past the show into the third quarter with stuff that we want to do for this year. So
nice.
I don't see a respite anytime soon.
Nice.
So and that's a good thing, man. It's a good thing. Imagine if you were in the position where you couldn't project the 7 or 8 things that you want to do this year.
Yeah,
and that's what we want to do.
Yeah. And that's the fun thing, like you said, that because you're still a boutique company, you've got more flexibility where you can turn on a dime if you see the market wants something else and you're ready for it. That's great.
Listen, we are, like I said, we can pivot on a dime, we can move quick, and we can make adjustments. I'll give you an example. The example that we best had was 2 years ago when Oscuro kind of took off. It became, it was selling. It was a core line. It was selling adequately. It was better than that. We were selling a fair amount of it. It still didn't compete with Laranja, the original Reserva. And then, boom, all of a sudden, the orders start to come. The orders start to come. We had enough. We had enough foresight. We ordered. We got some. We never went through a lull where we were out of it. I think the cigar this year that I think we're going to finally see take off the way that we've always expected to be was Azulejo. Azulejo is a great cigar.
Yeah. But
when you have so many cigars that are enjoyed and smoked, some kind of do get lost in that board game, in that shell game. Azulejo is a cigar that kind of hasn't reached its potential yet, and it's we're not going to stop making it. We love it, and we said that a couple of months ago, and boom, at the end of last year, Azulejo sales start to pick up because I really think that you kind of, if you don't get that bump from the media, from from one of the Cigar of the Year sites, eventually the alpha smokers in the shop start to take over and say, hey man, you should try this. You should try this. You should try this. Or he'll see us smoking it, or he'll see one of us smoking it, or he'll see me. They'll ask me, hey, what should I try of yours? You should try this.
Yeah.
And we're always, listen, we have always put ourselves in the position we have a plan, but we also have a contingency plan. We always have a backup plan in case, so listen, we couldn't, in my 10 years, we've never been in a better position. We've never been in a better position. And that has everything to do with Eric and, us getting to where we've been, where we started firmly on his shoulders, Junior with doing the marketing and coming up with his crazy ideas to do stuff like 6 provinces, which started with an idea of a dream, and then sitting at the board and people thought it was crazy, but no, look, we've gone for 4 years and it's been great. And with the elite thing that we did, and then the lighters and the hats and our shirt game was tight for years. I mean, we've had a great t-shirt game for years. He's responsible for the Lazona Palooza, pretty much putting that together. Jack with the team, with the young team that he has under his belt, that that he works them and he runs them good, and he's got them operating really well. Richie, who came in a couple of years ago to handle key accounts, and Richie's been doing Richie kind of things. Richie's a monster. When we talked about Richie, I said, Richie, I'd have him in one of those fire extinguisher cases, break glass in case of sale, because Richie will. If you're on the line there, you're like, oh, I've got 2 cigars, I don't know what to take it. Have you guys remember that trunk monkey thing, where the guy said, Richie's the kind of guy. Hey, I think I got a guy there. He's got a couple of cigars. He's not sure. I got you, bro. And next thing you know, the guy's walking out of there with what happened? No. I put him on the Espinosa dog. I got you. And then me doing the stuff that I've been allowed to do, and we have a good in-house team. I mean, the in-house team, we have learned nobody there, with the exception of Jack and Richie, came from somewhere else in the cigar industry. We're all homegrown. The administrative staff's homegrown. Junior's only worked for his dad. I've only worked for his dad. We worked retail for a short while, so it's not like we have all this vast experience to fall back on. Well, I remember we used to do it like this back in Cuba. We don't have that. This is how we. How do you guys do it? Well, this is how we figured out to do it until we do it wrong, and then we'll fix it. I mean, I'm telling you, it's been a lot of work, man, but it's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun, and to see, to walk into our warehouse now compared to when we first started in this little 800 square foot warehouse where we had no product. And by the first couple of months, we were sitting on top of each other because we had built this huge humidor inside this 800 square foot warehouse. We've come a long way. We've really come a long way. And that's a tribute to everybody who's worked with us at one time and no longer is, and is still with us today,
Yeah. Love it. So Garrett, I have a question for you.
Yeah. What is it?
Is it time?
Oh, yes.
It is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. And as always, Numero de los Muertos is brought to us by our friends at Smoke Inn.
I hate this.
Honest Dave here from Smoke Inn Cigars. It is that time of year again, the Great Smoke 2023 Mardi Gras Madness. Whether you're coming down live or going to be enjoying the event from the comfort of your own home, your ticket price includes this epic package. It's one of our greatest Great Smoke packages in the history of this event. Over $400 worth of product and great swag for the low cost of $165. Do not hesitate. Tickets are selling this year faster than ever. Go to www.thegreatsmoke.com and get your live general admission ticket, your virtual ticket if you're going to enjoy from home, and tickets for either the dinner or the brunch. Epic time. We can't wait to see you all there. The Great Smoke 2023. Mardi Gras Madness.
All right. Numero de los Muertos, episode 189. Hector's already like, I hate this.
He loves it.
I hate this.
So he loves it.
Oh my God. All right, the answer is chlamydia. Whatever the question is, it's going to be chlamydia. That's my answer.
I wish.
All
All right, go ahead. Hit me.
This is going to be a tough one.
All right.
They're all tough. They're all tough.
tough.
It's like you spent 6 days doing this.
17 people in the U.S. die from this every year.
See, this sucks because that's such a low number. We're never going to freaking guess this.
Well, we do. We get there.
There's 327 million people in the United States. 17 a year die.
Yeah.
17 a year die.
All right. So are we going to do like we do it every year that you're not going to give me any hints, or are you going to give me some?
We will give hints along the way.
We get to ask yes or no questions along the way to narrow it down.
But if we don't get there, I will feed my baby birds. Yes.
All right. Are these accidental?
Yes.
Okay.
Would they be considered workplace accidents?
No.
All right. Are these because of natural disasters, medical, or work, or
Nope.
just everyday shit?
It is nothing sexual, Raul.
Well, I'm out.
So is Raul.
Somebody forgot their safe word. Okay.
Pineapple.
All right. 17. Not work related.
Answer there.
It's not Jay Davis's answer. It's not
Eating
Jay
eggs
Davis.
while doing a Coop airport selfie. Ooh.
Don't even get me started with those selfies. I had to leave. We're having fun wrong. All right.
Fun wrong.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. 17 people. You said it could? Are they accidental deaths? You said
yes. It is accidental.
All right. Is it something like having a Coke machine fall on you or something
That
similar?
was
to that?
actually the very first one we did.
That was the
I'm-
very first episode.
I thought you might have done a repeat. Okay. Having.
We did a repeat with you and Jack once that you were on with Lazona Palooza.
7.
Forgetting to take the gag ball out. No, Jason. No.
We're
You
not-
got to put holes in the leather mask. If there's no
Right.
holes in the leather mask, it never. All right, so it's not sexual, it's not work related. Is it something that can happen in the home?
No.
All right, is it something in your car?
Not in your car.
Are vehicles related?
Yes.
Oh, does the car fall on you when you're changing a tire or changing your oil?
Nope. I did that one. It's not that.
Well, fuck.
Are they four-wheeled vehicles?
Yes.
Four-wheeled vehicles, cars or ATVs?
Cars or trucks.
Or trucks. Anything to do with smart cars? No, right? Nothing to do
Nope.
with smart cars.
Is it driving off a cliff?
Yes.
What? I just threw that out there. Are you serious?
Dead serious.
I literally just a joke answer threw that out there. It's driving off a cliff?
17.
He got driving off a cliff because I said the smart car thing, and
Yeah.
there's been reports that the smart cars have had some accidents. So I'm taking half of credit on that.
Yeah,
I don't
you
give a
got to
shit.
take half.
I don't care at all. All right, I'm taking half of that.
Because
I'm
I
out.
picture myself, if I had to drive a smart car, I would drive it right off a cliff.
I think it's Jay Davis's answer here.
Riding
Riding
a
a
Trans Am.
Trans Am naked while driving off a cliff.
Well,
Jay,
don't forget, Jay has a time machine to still have a Trans Am. I mean, 1979, baby. Here we go.
It's playing.
So
I
it's
thought it was
literally
like
driving off.
controlled
It is
by a
17.
Wolverine.
So where
or
did you get
something
the
like
stat for people driving off a cliff?
Dude, I had to scour. I really
Yeah,
wanted
this
to
is in the
find-
U.S.
This is in the
that. Yeah,
US.
that'll mortals.com.
So most of these have to be like what in California, the PCH.
So obviously, big on the West Coast and the East Coast because
Because there are cliffs and
there are more cliffs
yeah,
there.
oceans.
Yeah, oceans and things. Yeah,
I wonder what the worldwide number is for that.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not a single driving off a cliff in Florida this year.
Not a single
not
one.
one.
Yeah.
Not
That's
a single
amazing.
one. Driving off a bridge, probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
probably. That's probably weekly.
No cliffs. There's no cliffs in Minnesota.
I mean,
There are cliffs in
There's
Minnesota.
some pretty decent cliffs in
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Okay, no, I'm answering Jay's question. Right?
Yeah.
You have to go up to northern Minnesota by
Duluth and further.
yeah.
Falls.
Down in Waynesboro area, there's some cliffs.
Oh yeah, I've not been down there.
Is Duluth Trading Company from Duluth, Minnesota?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Their underwear.
Oh,
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I turned on. Oh, this sounds kind of weird. I turned on about 8 guys to that Duluth underwear stuff.
It's amazing.
Nothing has ever been better for your boys than
Yes.
Duluth Trading Company.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Listen to me. Hear me now and believe me later. They are fantastic. And if you go to the website, you can still get some Christmas underwear, even though it's not Christmas time. They're expensive, but man, are they worth
They
it.
last and they're
They-
comfortable.
They are so comfortable, and they make you so aerodynamic.
Bro, we don't want to see your
Which-
underwear right now, bro.
I-
Raul's
which is
trying-
something-
Raul's trying to
which
take
is-
his junk out again.
Again,
Again.
Again.
you know, it makes you very aerodynamic, which is not something you hear often when you talk about Hector Alfonso. But it's good, man. That is fantastic stuff. I'm all over Duluth, man. I must have
Well,
spent
and
like
they're
$500
they're
on
long
them.
johns. So for hunting, I wore them, back when I started hunting when I was, 13 years old.
Oh.
And they are warm and comfortable and amazing.
I've never been accused of being aerodynamic. Maybe
And
not since I was
this
like
doesn't
20 years
apply to you guys, but They're very snuggy for the big boys. Very, very. The big boys love. Yes, this episode is sponsored by Duluth and Fresh Balls, which is very important, dog. It's very important now. And you got to get the long ones. They come down to your knees. It's like sliding pants, like you're playing softball. Back in the day.
I guess I got some. I just buy the cheap underwear at Target. I guess I got to
listen,
up my game.
Don't do your balls wrong. All right, always
take care of your balls.
Take all your balls, bro. Because if you don't know, eventually they'll get too long, and the cat will start playing with them when you're older. You got to take care of them now. All right, I'm telling you, that Duluth is the shit.
Okay, well,
that's all I'm gonna say.
Maybe
I'd like to do a collaboration with them, a Duluth cigar, the Duluth underwear cigar,
Duluth Balls cigar.
Me and Juan Cancel on the cover, nude. Just
yes. Oh,
it's a thing. It's gonna happen.
I will try as hard as I can to make that happen.
You're fantastic.
Real good.
All right, so that was this week's Numero de los Muertos.
Brought to you by Fresh Balls
and Duluth Trading Company, Duluth, Minnesota.
All right, so let's jump into the lightning round. And the lightning round brought to us by J.C. Newman Cigar Company. They are America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and the American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 112-year-old El Reloj cigar factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. So, we got the Raul cam.
Ooh.
So fresh and so clean.
Oh, Outcast.
My goodness.
Look at that.
I'm just enamored. I'm enamored by the mustache.
Well, speaking of this, the cigar consumer spectrum, we also have a friend on the spectrum, and that's Raul.
Yeah, not that
spectrum. We're talking about the other spectrum.
Oh, the other spectrum. Okay.
Listen, I just thought of the Fresh Balls cam. I'm just saying, just for
Raul. Yeah.
I'm on it.
Sponsored by Espinosa Premium Cigars.
The Fresh Ball cam.
Right. I'll send you an invoice.
All right, no problem. I'll send you a picture of my balls. There you go. All right.
So Hector, we've done quite a few of the lightning round questions with you over the years, but we're gonna get some new. Fresh
balls.
Oh, fresh, maybe new. We'll say new questions.
New questions. Okay.
Yeah. New questions. Here we go.
So, if you were suddenly a billionaire,
good night.
What would be the first unnecessary thing you'd spend money on?
Shit. Oh, hold on. It's 11 o'clock here, and my automatic lights went down. So I have lights. Listen, you have to be efficient in this modern economy. Hold on a second.
This is Hector After Dark.
Oh, there you go.
Bow chicka
bow. What would I bow chicka bow bow? I think it's just I have never had money, so I don't ever think like that. I think it would be. Can it be anything? I mean, it doesn't have to be like an item, right?
Billionaire.
I would buy a motorhome. I would buy a motorhome, and I would drive this great country of ours, and I would be unreachable. I would make sure that it has all of the bells and whistles, all the Wi-Fi and equipment I need, but I would be off the grid. I would buy a motorhome and go off the grid for 3 or 4 months.
I love that. That is maybe my favorite answer ever.
I like it a lot.
That is fantastic.
I love Shelby's answer.
And obviously, well, of course,
Duluth Trading Company underwear.
I'd buy a piece of Duluth. I mean,
I was just going to say you could probably buy Duluth Trading Company.
I wouldn't want to. If it's not broken, don't fix it. I mean,
leave it alone.
It's working just what I need. All of a sudden, the Alfonso line, what the hell is this?
just give them enough money where you can work out the cigar collaboration.
Absolutely.
Because with the right price, they would go for it. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, so and it's sort of along the same lines of suddenly having just insane amounts of money. But if you could have an unlimited supply of one thing for the rest of your life, and you cannot say cigars, money, or time, but an unlimited supply of one other thing, what would it be?
Bomb chicky bow wow. All right. I don't care. I'm your best guest ever, brother. All right. An unlimited supply. Oh my God, cigars. Yeah, cigars are good, but I'm good there. An unlimited supply. Wow, man, you could. These are good. These are pretty good because I've never thought in that vein,
Right.
as to what I would want an unlimited supply of. I mean, I could say M&Ms, but then I'd be dead in a year. All right, so
Yeah.
I guess an unlimited supply of bomb chicken pow. No, that's the answer for everything, by the way.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
it is.
All right, so an unlimited supply. I guess I would like to be able to just go to events. I mean, just an unlimited of supply of tickets to go to events.
Yeah.
Of my choosing, whether it's a concert or the Philharmonic or the ballet. Who am I fooling? I don't do any of that shit. But like sporting events or baseball or I'd like to be able to do that. Concerts, and an unlimited event, an unlimited amount of access to venues. I think
Yes.
gasoline and eggs isn't a bad idea. And I don't know who Tony Corey is, but Hookers and Blow are my man. No, it's a little bit too old to start doing the blow and the hookers now, but still, I mean, nothing like doing something that's making me impotent and paranoid. All right, I'm all in. Where do I sign up for that? Yeah. I get access, an unlimited amount of access. I could go wherever the hell I wanted. Chrissy's
I
having a
love
good
that
time.
answer. Great answer.
And Ronnie would take bandwidth. That's true. Bandwidth is hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. What else you got?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, dude.
Yeah.
All right, Hector.
Dude.
You ready?
Hit me.
The zombies are coming. Okay. You get 3 industry peeps to choose to be on your zombie apocalypse survival team. Who do you pick and why?
Oh, well. All right. First of all, this is very important because it will dictate which direction I go with the people I know in the industry. Now, are we mobile or are we on foot?
Whichever scenario you choose.
Yep.
All right.
You choose your scenario.
All right. So I need some all right. First of all, because I want to go to work tomorrow and still have a job, I'd have to take Eric.
Bro.
I mean, you got to take Eric.
Bro.
You got to have guys who are like survivors, guys who have that kill, I think I would take let's skip Abe because I can run faster. Wow, that's fucked up. I don't know Skip Halfkey with the fucked up thing. Actually, I'd take 3 guys that I could outrun just because I don't need to outrun all of them, just that one.
That's right.
But no, I'd take guys. I take guys who are tough. So I think I'd take Eric, and I can't take Jack because I'm gonna have to sacrifice Jack, and I don't want to do that. I can't sacrifice my guy there, so I'm not gonna take him. And I take guys who are smart. So this is interesting. I got to take smart guys. I got to take guys who are smart, but yet if they die, I'll be all right with that. So
I
This
love
is
the
quite
thought
the
you're putting into this.
This
Yeah,
is
really do.
quite the conundrum. Oh shit, man. This is tough,
Well,
man.
And can we present you with a couple ideas that other guests have played out?
All right,
and
all right.
that is that you want people who have guns.
Mhm.
Well, of course.
Lots of
but
guns.
I'm thinking of cigar guys that I know that have a lot of guns. So I know Justin Andrews has a shitload of guns. So
Okay.
And look, and he works for General, so if something happens to him, they can just replace him. So,
Oh shit!
that's my boy though. No, I'm fucking with him. But it had to be Justin. Listen, I'm the only guy who doesn't bust on Justin, so I'm gonna take Eric and Justin because Justin has guns. Eric because Eric will bro those guys into submission. So then I need a third guy. You got to have some comic relief.
Yes.
Because Fred Rui is funny as hell.
Oh my
Fred,
God.
Fred's a funny guy. I just don't know if Fred's a gun guy. He doesn't strike me as a gun guy. So I don't know if Fred's a gun guy. Eric's not a gun guy either, to be honest with you. Shit, man. Give me some other suggestions. You had some suggestions there that you were saying that I should.
Well, people who have guns is one.
Yep.
People who have
Oh, wait a minute. You said wait a minute.
Airplanes.
People
or
have
helicopters.
well, shit. I don't have any of those. Oh well, I'm not going to take.
So I think
I like
Christian
some of those.
Roa has his own plane.
Yep.
And there's a couple other people that I'm sorry their names escape me that have helicopters. So easy escape routes, basically.
Easy escape route. You know what? If we look, I look at it this way. Since we're probably gonna end up dying anyway. You want a guy. You want a guy who's gonna make the last little while fun. Let's have Juan Lopez. Juan Lopez is gonna make that last. Whatever's happening, it's gonna be. That's Juan Lopez.
It'll be a good time. It'll be a good
time.
time.
Juan Lopez, Eric, and Justin. Those are my three guys. There are a couple of guys I want to take. I'd want to take a couple of guys, but then we would all be fighting to see who's in charge. And then that's why I don't take, I'd love to have Skip, but then we'd be arguing about who's in charge and Steve, or, we'd all be arguing. We spend too much time who's going to be in charge, who's going to be in command, and then we end up getting fucked up. So it's got to be,
Yeah.
So I'm going to go.
Jay's right. Juan would get all the zombies drunk while we run away.
I'm telling you, Juan would get these guys lit up, and then they'd be smoking Gurkhas. They'd be all tore up and banged up. So Juan would have them on he's got like 10 boxes of ghosts out there. They're smoking, they're drinking, and then we're making a run for it. Eric will fuck him up with bro, let me tell you a joke or a card trick. He's got him fucked up with the card tricks. And then Justin's got like the arsenal. So we're good, bro. I think I got my team right there.
That's a great team.
There's a bunch of guys that are honorable mention, but it would just be too much inner politic and turmoil. So who'd be in charge? Everybody wants to be in charge. So
my number one draft pick is Boofy. Not only was he a Marine, or is a Marine, sorry.
And you like sitting on his lap.
Dude,
and you like to sit on his lap.
I do love sitting on his lap. And he
what kind of sailor shit is that? All right, go ahead.
And he's fucking hilarious.
He is. Yeah.
It would be entertaining.
Yeah.
And he would have the guns.
Yes.
Yeah, but I got it. Yeah, you're right. Listen. There's a whole bunch of guys, but getting the right three together is the problem.
Yeah,
right.
And I think that's the thing. Getting the right three together is where the issue is. So
honestly, when the zombie apocalypse happens, I'm gonna wait like a day, and I'm not gonna smoke any cigars for 24 hours, and I'm gonna wander around and follow this and look for the scent of cigar smoke, and I'm gonna go in that direction.
Yeah, listen, if we're talking about guys who have, with income and airplane, I'd have AJ on my team, but then AJ would be like trying to make him a cigar. Trying to make the zombies a cigar. I don't have time for that,
You'd hire some rollers.
Yeah, hey, can you roll? Let me see your technique here. No, Chico, my filler, more filler.
Oh God, that's fantastic.
Boofy's
all right,
great.
so
Boofy
let's jump into this week's notable smokable, brought to us by Luciano Cigars. Notable cigars, notable passion, notable purpose. So Hector, you've been through this before with us. We name a cigar each week that was notable to us that we smoked recently. It could be a cigar that's been on the market for decades that we revisited for the first time in a very long time, or a cigar that's brand new to the market that we've tried for the first time ever. Obviously, you're smoking mostly Espinosa stuff, but I know you smoke a lot of stuff outside of your own portfolio. So what's something you smoked recently that really stood out?
I smoked the HBC Miami, the one he's making in Miami.
Oh, yeah.
That was really good.
Nice.
That was really, really, really good. And by the way, Jay Davis just said the funniest shit of the whole show. I think Jay Davis just posted the AJ Dead World Cameroon. That's awesome. That made me chuckle on the inside. All right, old world, new world. That's fantastic.
The dead.
The Dead World.
Shit!
I smoked that cigar, and I mean, if you only want one, I smoked that cigar, and it was really, really good. I was very impressed by the cigar.
Nice. So the HV, it's it L Titan.
The one made at El Titan.
Okay, nice. Garrett, what about you?
I had a Crux de Connoisseur that I got from Perfect Ash, and it I had a very long day, hard day, and it took all of the things away.
Made everything better.
It did.
Was it the
Number
Lancero?
four?
Was the Lancero.
The number 2?
The
Okay.
number
Number
two.
two.
Or the number the number 1? One of the numbers.
It's
it
a
was,
number.
It was one of the numbers. It's not the number 4.
It isn't the number 4.
Okay.
That's the Corona.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Lancero.
So excuse me, I all of a sudden got a little choked up. I'm good. I'll be
Okay.
just fine.
Yeah.
What about Justin?
My
Oh.
Justin, did you have a notable this week?
Yeah, I had my fiance's dad's 71st birthday over at the house. Had everybody over on Saturday.
posted,
Yeah.
So I picked up 5 of the My Father Flor de las Antillas 10th anniversary limited edition 2022, and they were amazing.
I was like, dude's balling out. He bought a bunch of those
Yeah,
cigars, and
yeah.
they're not cheap.
A couple of guys are like, that's the most expensive cigar they've had. They
Yeah.
smoke cigars here and there, but I wanted to give them a treat that they remember, so they love that one. It was a good
Nice.
one. Yeah,
So it was legit.
yeah, it's
Very
good.
nice.
I got one left.
Raul, did you have a notable smokable this week? Check out the Raul cam. He won't be. We're talking to my microphone.
Maria Lucia.
What are you smoking?
Maria Lucia.
Maria Lucia from Luciano Cigars. I like that cigar. I like that cigar a lot.
I haven't had one in a while. And I smoked it earlier today.
Nice. My notable this week was the My Father Le Bijou 1922 100 Años. In the this was the Toro size. I'm so sorry, I don't remember the name. It was earlier today that I smoked. Very nice blend. I always loved the original Le Bijou,
Oh my gosh.
but that 100 Años
That's
really
a very good cigar. That's a very
really
good
kind of blew it up a little bit. Really nice blend.
Mm-hmm.
Very much enjoyable.
Yep.
So that was this week's notable smokables, brought to us by Luciano Cigars, improving lives through fine cigars. Visit lucianocigars.com to learn more. So let's hit you guys up with some coming attractions, as always, brought to us by AJ Fernandez. They
Dead
now
World Lake Cameroon.
produce unparalleled
Ah,
in Escalante, Nicaragua. The AJ Fernandez portfolio of cigars provides blend, strength, and flavor profiles to match the preferences of any premium cigar consumer. Whether it's New World, Dias de Gloria, San Lotano, Enclave, or Bellas Artes, you are sure to be satisfied with a premium cigar from AJ Fernandez. So next week, on the last Monday of January 30th, we welcome none other than Honest Abe DeBabna from Smoke Inn, and we are going to talk all about the Great Smoke 2023 Mardi Gras Madness,
And we are giving
away a ticket to the Great Smoke 2023.
wow.
So you
I think
guys,
those are sold out. If I'm not
you
mistaken.
absolutely do not want to miss next week's episode. You don't want to miss any of our episodes, but
No.
next week it's going to be fun. So make sure to tune in next week. And we have some great shows already on the schedule for February, and we will let you guys know about those as soon as possible. So Hector, first of all, thank you very much for being on episode 189.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And if you would please give our viewers and listeners the best place for them to keep up with everything going on with Espinosa Premium Cigars.
All right, for Espinosa Premium Cigars, obviously EspinosaCigars.com, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, plus the personal pages of Eric Jr., Jack Tarano, Richie, myself. And you can catch me on DuluthSexyUnderwear.com, where I have a calendar coming out, which is there's gonna be a lot of airbrushing. I'm letting you know now.
Oh, that's gonna be hot.
So So listen. Also,
to my joke. I was going to ask for your OnlyFans link so we could see the Duluth Trading
I
Company.
can't. I don't want to do OnlyFans because then I might not get a job in the media later. So I got to make sure.
Gosh damn it! I can't out-joke him.
Did you not read Ronnie's text? Did you not read Ronnie's comment earlier?
Yeah, it's true. I know. You're the best.
Hector.
You're the best.
I have always got one in the chamber. Always got one in the chamber.
And I love you for it.
I appreciate it. So yeah, shut up and take my money. No, he's I don't do OnlyFans anymore because it's just because you need a lot of bandwidth. You know what I'm talking? You need a lot of bandwidth. So
that's you gotta have that gig fiber to do OnlyFans.
When you got the media too.
All right, listen, I want to. If I were to retire, I want to do the media stuff, and I don't want anything in my closet when they do my due diligence. So I got to be, I got to be on point, dog.
Got to keep it clean.
Got to keep it clean, baby. So I keep it clean. So yeah, man. Beyond, we'll be doing Lizona Palooza in November.
Nice.
God willing, knock on wood, you guys will be invited. If you can make it down to Lizona Palooza, I know it's a lot to ask people to come to Miami in November, especially since it's freezing up there in November. But Lizona Palooza will be here, and it's my favorite event. It just is. It really is.
Absolutely.
It's Jack's event because he's a man of the people, and there will be people. He's a man of the people. I've had you guys on a long time. I know that it's way past your time, so I appreciate you.
It's our pleasure. We just love talking to you, man. This. And it's a great time. And
I'm a treat. I'm a treat. I don't understand why people don't
are a
know
delight.
I'm a delight. I just really am.
And the most humble person in the industry.
I am one of the most humble people in the industry. Yes. I was, I am. Listen, there's a couple of guys that I love and we've done shows together and I always said, nothing like getting three guys on there who love the sound of their own voices, and I'm one of those guys. I love the sound of my own voice. But no, thanks a lot for having me on. Any chance that I can come on and talk about Espinosa and the brand and our path and how well we've done and where we're going is a great opportunity for the company. And it's been 11 years. It'll be 11 years in February, and here's to another 11 years.
Amen. Absolutely.
Right. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. So for our viewers and listeners, guys, thank you so much for watching live on Facebook and live on YouTube. And for those of you listening after the fact on the audio podcast, of course, we thank you as well for listening to us while you're doing whatever it is you do when you listen to audio podcasts. We're grateful for that. Make sure, if you guys have questions for us, be sure to email us right on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Follow us on all social media at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.